I bet it looks a little bit different now. Here we are. It's later on now. I don't even know what time it is. I spent all day working on this thing and I'm really happy with it right now. So when you guys seen it, it was just the decking. Since then I've put the 2x4s in. I screwed them from the bottom. The front one here, you'll notice there's a gap. Like I said, this trailer has been torqued, and you can see the steel's kind of bendy, and the plywood, right, can bend, but that 2x4 can't. So I could probably suck it down if I did a nice carriage bolt in here. Honestly, it doesn't bother me though. I'd rather have a level deck and not worry about that trailer. Eventually it'll sag down in there, or you know, whatever, but there's no way I can really straighten this frame out right now with what I have, so it'll just have to be how it is. I did have to cut out little pieces here, which I guess I didn't have to since it pulled up on this side, but on that side I did for the carriage bolts. I don't really like how that looks, but I thought if anything it's good for water to come out, you know. If it's sitting for a long time, the water can drain. Being that it's, I would assume it's kind of watertight around the edges there, and it's not green treated, so it can rot. So maybe when I store it, then I'll just crank it down so the water can run forward. So I got all the sides on, and then on the back here, I thought it would be kind of cute to put a double 2x4 with the braces on it, and I really like how it turned out. I think it looks really cute, and it's just mounted with 2 screws on each side. I did have these hinges out. You know, what if I was going to put them like right in here, or sorry, well, something like that where it's on the steel on the bottom, and then on that, because it would look really cute. But I thought it's really 2 screws on each side. If I needed to load something like that, I could just take the screws out. I don't have a wheeler or anything like that, and like I was talking about my lawn care stuff, well, that can wait till next year. I can just take the screws out and make an actual, I'd want an actual drop down ramp if that was going to be the case. Here we go. Here's this side. I got these fenders mounted the way I wanted them. They're really sturdy. I did this one here had the bolts, or they both had them drilled, these 4, and then that one was fine, but this one sagged forward. It was kind of bent, so I put one on the top and I matched it over here, and I used just washers that I found on those carpenter screws. This one here had a lot of other, must have been like the template for that one, but yeah, and it's solid, really solid. You know, you won't want to step on it, but it's pretty solid. Trying to think of what else. Random person walking. Trying to think. I do have to go through and fix the trailer lights. I don't know why. Online they say it might be a ground, so I'm going to take off this screw and I'm going to, oh, that reminds me, I'm going to shine this up so it grounds better and see if it's that ground. If it's not that ground, it's that ground that I put up underneath. The actual white one is up in there somewhere. There it is. Where is that damn thing? It's on this bolt right there. It's up in that bolt, so maybe it just didn't get a good enough connection. I went through and redid this front piece. Let's see, if I take this off I can show you. It had one of these. I don't know if that's like a new school or an old school thing. It's like a rivet in there, and it had that on the bottom, but the one side had popped out, and I had beat it in there once before and it didn't stay. So I ended up cutting and pushing it out as far as I could, cutting the one end and dropping it, and then putting obviously this bolt in there with a lock washer and it's pretty tight right now, but it works. I greased it, as you can see there's grease in there. And then this part here had a couple of weird gashes in it. You can see it's bent, right in here. Had like a gash here, and then this side had like a hook almost that would get you when you weren't thinking about it. So I took my angle grinder and I grinded it off so it's smooth and you won't get your finger caught. And then I wanted to make some adjustments down below and on this nut here, so we'll see about that. I had to look that up online though. I've never adjusted that, so I want to make sure I do it right. Yeah, and then when I bought my house, they had this lock in the garage, and it works really, really nice for the other trailer, so you can lock it on your vehicle. And now this one, luckily it's skinny enough where it works too. So whenever I'm out and about, I normally, people put pins in there. I have a little key on my keychain, and I'll, even if you let it sit like that, I guess, but I normally lock it. And I do lock it if I have it off the vehicle outside here too, just because there's pretty easy access to the alleyway, and this is like behind my house, so anybody could really grab it, especially for how light this thing is, really easily. So I put the lock on there and it'll stay on there. And that looks kind of crooked again, so we'll see how long that lasts.